Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be having a tier list. We're going to be ranking all of the starting quarterbacks for the 2025-2026 NFL season, and we're going to just decide who's the best quarterback. I will be putting them in order in the tiers, so I guess we're ranking them 1 through 32. And let's get it started. So just to start off, let's establish the tiers that we have. Starting off, certified superstar. You should know what that is. They are faces of the league. They are the guys who are going to make the big bucks, and they're the guys who will probably be leading their teams to the Super Bowl. Franchise quarterback. This doesn't necessarily mean you're young enough to be there for the next 10 to 15 years, but you're playing at a level to where you've either been a starter for that long time or you can be a starter for a team for the next 10 to 15 years. Very promising. You show flashes of potentially being a franchise quarterback, but you're not quite there yet. Serviceable, you're a good quarterback. You're going to be there. You might make a few mistakes here and there, but you're not a bad quarterback. You're going to lead a team to 12 wins with the right supporting cast. A bridge quarterback, this is a guy who's just going to fill in the gaps for 1 to 3 years or 1 to 2. Just that short-term quarterback who's going to be decent, but never really remarkable. And then not a starter. They're starting right now, but they should not be. And then I do have the rookie tier. I know Derek Carr's in here, but I'm just going to count that as Tyler Shough. And then, yeah, we're just not going to be ranking the quarterbacks, the rookies right now, because we haven't seen anything from them in the NFL. Cam Ward could be terrible, and we don't know. So starting off with Matthew Stafford. This is a franchise quarterback, or that's at least the level that he plays to. My Matty Stafford, he is the Rams starting quarterback, my team. And yeah, he's just going to be he can be there for the long term. If he weren't 37, he plays like a franchise quarterback. And he's been a guy who's started for the last 10, 15 years, and he's playing at that level currently. Jared Goff. This is tough because I think he's a little bit above serviceable, but I wouldn't say there's very promising things. He's more in that game manager range. I do think he's really good. He does what is needed of him, but he just doesn't. I don't think he'll ever elevate a team to the Super Bowl. I think he needs a great team around him to make it to the Super Bowl, but he's not going to be that elevating type of guy. And then Sam Darnold, this is another serviceable quarterback. I will be putting him below Jared Goff. I don't think he's as great. He had that amazing supporting cast around him last year in Minnesota, but if they don't have as good of a team as they do, I'm not sure he's at that level. But this is a big improvement for him from where he was last year, because if I did this 365 days ago, he would be in this not starter range. So he is a serviceable quarterback. Josh Allen, MVP of the league. He is a certified superstar. Trevor Lawrence. Oh, rough. He's a serviceable quarterback. He's paid like he's a franchise quarterback, but he's a serviceable guy. If you had him on a cheaper contract, I wouldn't hate it, but from what we've seen, he's not an elite quarterback in this league, so I can't put him in the very promising or franchise quarterback tier. Bo Nix. This is a guy who's very promising. I don't think he'll ever really exceed this level, but with how Sean Payton is able to coach him, with the way he processes the game, he's just going to be a good, solid quarterback for a long time. And I think he is a little bit above serviceable because he did elevate that Denver team last year. That wasn't a very complete roster. It wasn't an amazing roster. It wasn't a bad roster, but he brought that team to a new level, took them to the playoffs, and I think he's a very promising quarterback. Caleb Williams, from what we've seen so far, he's a serviceable quarterback, but I'm adding in projection. He has his new head coach in Ben Johnson, who I think should be able to help him. The story came out like a week ago now about how bad that team was run last year with their head coach and with him not being able to watch game tape with anyone. So I'm going to put him in this very promising tier. But and I'm going to put him above Bo Nix. I know Bo Nix has produced more so far. A little bit of this is based on projection, but he's a guy who he has the traits. We saw it in college. And I think now that Ben Johnson's there, he has a ton of weapons. I think he should be able to elevate to that next tier. Now, Drake May. This is another guy who is very promising. I wouldn't say he's a franchise quarterback though, because you look at the stats, it's not as good as everybody's making it out to be. He's a guy who is really good on the ground, but he did throw a lot of risky passes. He had a lot of interceptions, a lot of fumbles, just overall a lot of turnovers last year. And there's obviously a lot of things you can work on with him, but he showed the flashes, and he's really close to that franchise quarterback tier, but I just don't think he's quite there yet. Maybe with another year of experience, he will be. Patrick Mahomes, superstar. This is interesting. Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? I'm going to keep Josh Allen ahead of him because Josh Allen has just played better. I mean, historically, you can't bet against Mahomes, but the past 2-3 years, Josh Allen has played better. And I think you got to put him above Patty right now. Geno Smith. This is a serviceable quarterback, and I think he's not as good as Jared Goff, but better than Sam Darnold. These are the guys that they get paid really well because they're just able to hold a team down, but I don't see any of these guys elevating a team to that Super Bowl level. And same with Geno. I think he'll be a really, really good, serviceable quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just not sure if he's going to be a guy to lead them to a 12-win season this year. And I feel like maybe a greater quarterback on that team, maybe if they had Matthew Stafford, they might be closer to that. Justin Herbert. He is a franchise quarterback. He's one of the top 6, 7 guys in the league. So I don't think he's a certified superstar, but he definitely is a franchise quarterback, and he should be with the Chargers for the next 10, 15 years if everything goes correctly. Dak Prescott. This is really interesting because when he's healthy, he's really good. And I have a lot of questions with Dak. And I'm going to put him in that franchise quarterback tier. He's more controversial, but he's more than serviceable. He's a little too old to just be promising. So I'm going to put him in the back end of that franchise quarterback tier because when it's right, he really is that. He puts up the stats as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And there were even MVP discussions for him a couple of years ago. So he's a guy when the team's around him, when they're doing good, he's going to be viewed in a high light. And when they go 5-12 and he's injured, it's not going to look so well. So I'm going to keep him in that franchise quarterback range, but I'm not sure if he's quite that. Russell Wilson, he is the first bridge quarterback on this list. I don't think he'll be there in New York next year. Maybe he will. And then past that, he won't be there after 2 years. I'm just saying he won't. So he's a guy who doesn't elevate a team at all. We saw it in Pittsburgh. He started off, when he went in, he was really good. They lost their last 5 or 6 games of the season, and he's a guy who's just going to be there, going to provide some leadership, some veteran qualities, but he's really just not that great of a quarterback at this stage of his career. While on the other hand, Jalen Hurts, he is a franchise quarterback, and I'm going to see if I put him above Herbert. That's interesting. But franchise leading quarterback, or not franchise leading, Super Bowl winning quarterback. He can lead his franchise. The rushing ability alone is elite, but he's a good quarterback. He's not just a running back. So I mean, he has the all around qualities. He is that guy, and I think that, you know what, let's put him above Herbert because he's shown more than Herbert so far. I think Herbert's a better pure passer, but I think what Hurts brings to that Eagles offense, Herbert's going to be a better franchise quarterback for some teams, and Hurts is going to be the better one for the Eagles. So for that reason, Hurts is above him, and he's a really good quarterback. And I don't like when people just say he just runs. He can't do anything else because that's just not true. Next up, Jayden Daniels. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I'm going to put him above Dak and Matthew Stafford. And I'm going to keep him below these two guys. From what we saw in the playoffs, he's probably above these guys. But I still think that there was a little bit of inconsistency last year. Some things you could count off. But overall, franchise level quarterback. And I expect him to just add on to that in his second season. And they've really built a team around him where I could see if next year goes right, he could jump into that certified superstar range. Jordan Love. This might be controversial, but I think he's a franchise guy. I think that he shows a little bit of inconsistency at times, but I think that he's a guy where he can get the ball to where it needs to be. He makes good decisions, and he has the traits. So I think you package all of that together. I think he has to be in that franchise quarterback tier. And he is a really good, really serviceable quarterback. And I think he should be with Green Bay for the next 10, 15 years. JJ McCarthy, I didn't see him at first, so let's just put him in a rookie because he hasn't played yet. We don't know. Michael Penix Jr., very promising. I'll put him right behind Drake May because from what we saw last year, he definitely can be a franchise quarterback. He's a guy where, especially in that Washington game, he showed out. There were times last year where he looked like a pure gunslinger, and he can continue to be that at the next level. So I'm excited to see what he turns into, and I think he's a very good quarterback. So out of the 6 quarterbacks that were drafted last year, 1 hasn't played, so we don't know yet. But of the 5 rookies that actually played last year, 4 are in very promising, and 1's a franchise quarterback already. You don't see that too often, and that's a great sign for the league. Justin Fields, our second bridge quarterback, he's not the traditional bridge. He's not going to be like the 35-year-old coming in, just being the starter for a couple of years and holding the everything down. But he's probably not going to be in New York for more than 2 years. He's a good rusher. He can't really pass all that well. He's going to help run a team and help that team have a running identity for a few years. But we see it with the pay. He got paid $20 million per year. That's bridge quarterback money. That's what Russell Wilson got. And the guaranteed money's $30 million over 2 years. So, I mean, he's just a bridge. He's not going to elevate a team at all, but he's going to be a good bridge quarterback for someone. And I think he will be good with this Jets team this year because they have a rushing identity, and I think that they can lean on Justin Fields in that. Bryce Young is very promising. I would not have said this at the start of last year even. I mean, if this were after week 2, he's not a starter. But what we saw in that last stretch of the season, he's a very promising quarterback, and I think that he has the potential to be the Bryce Young we saw at Alabama. Now we'll need him to continue to develop under Dave Canales, but I mean, from what we saw at the end of last year, he has it in him, and he can be maybe a franchise level quarterback, which is not something I thought we would hear a little bit ago. Baker Mayfield is a franchise quarterback. I'm just saying it because the way he's played, he leads to that Bucs team. He's a great leader. He's a gunslinger. He's going to get the yards. And it might be controversial to put him in this tier, but I'm not going to apologize for it because I think he is that good. His contract is a steal, $33 million per year. And he's a bargain contract, and he's just a leader. He will lead this team, and he's overall just really, really good. Kyler Murray is a serviceable quarterback. He's not a franchise guy. He's never going to lead a team to that elite level, to that Super Bowl, but he can help Arizona get to 11 wins. He can help them get to 12 wins at the ceiling, but I don't ever see them when the moment comes down to it, when it's fourth quarter, when you're in that 2-minute drive situation. He's never going to be the type of guy to really hold down the fort, make the sturdy decisions, and really help drive a team down the field. He's not going to be that. So for that reason, serviceable quarterback. And Brock Purdy, top is serviceable. I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. I'm sorry. With the way he doesn't elevate a team. He took a team to the Super Bowl. I know I've said elevate, not elite, 12. I've said a lot of stuff the same for a lot of these quarterbacks, but really Brock Purdy is more of a just serviceable quarterback. He's going to be in there. He's going to run the system that Kyle Shanahan likes, and he's going to run it really, really well. But he's had elite pieces his whole career. I think in a couple of years we'll see what he looks like without all those pieces, because I know he lost Deebo Samuel this offseason, but he still has Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's going to be gone soon enough with his injuries. And who knows with Brandon Ayuk, because they want to trade him too. So I really don't know what the San Francisco team looks like from here on out. And I don't think he's even really close to these guys up here in the franchise quarterback tier. So, but he is a really good serviceable quarterback, and he's in that Jared Goff range. There's nothing wrong with that. Lamar Jackson, certified superstar. And we're going to put him behind Mahomes still because he just hasn't performed when it comes to the playoffs. But if you look at the regular season and how he's played, he plays like a superstar. He deserves it, and he's an elevator. Like I've said, he elevates teams. He runs the system of Baltimore to an elite level, and he's always going to be a playmaker for that team. Joe Burrow, same story. I'm going to put him right behind Josh Allen and right above Patrick Mahomes. He almost had 5,000 passing yards last year. He's the reason that team was even in contention, and I really don't like the future of the Bengals. They're a not competent organization, but I mean, just he is one of those guys. He has the personality. He plays like it, and if it weren't for the team around him, he'd be a lot better, I think. Or he wouldn't be a lot better, but that team success would be a lot better. He led a team to the Super Bowl in his second or third year against my Rams, where they lost. But it shows he can lead a team to a Super Bowl, and that wasn't even that good of a team. So he's that guy. He can be that certified superstar. And they called Arrowhead Burrowhead for a long time for good reason, because Patrick Mahomes could not stop this guy. Now that the team's bad, it's a little different, but we'll see. Joe Flacco, just a really good bridge quarterback. He's like 78 now, but he's still leading these teams. He's a solid quarterback, and nothing wrong with that. He should be fine for the Browns this year. Mason Rudolph is not a starter. Simple as that. And I doubt he will be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. CJ Stroud, very promising. Now, if it were this time last year, he would be in that franchise quarterback range, but I didn't love what I saw last year. And I do think that he has room to go into that franchise quarterback tier. But after last year, I was thinking he could be a certified superstar after this year, similar to what I think where Jaden Daniels is. But he had a sophomore slump, and we're going to hope he has a junior resurgence now, but who knows? He just didn't perform to that franchise quarterback level last year. I'm contemplating putting Dak Prescott below him because I'd rather have CJ Stroud than Dak Prescott, but just the way they play, CJ Stroud didn't play as good as Dak Prescott last year. Well, when Dak Prescott's healthy, he played better than what CJ Stroud did last year. Anthony Richardson is not a starter. He can't pass the ball. He's a freak athlete, but he's not a starting quarterback in this league, or at least he shouldn't be. Tua, I don't think Tua is very good at all, man. I really don't. We'll put him in serviceable because when he's healthy, he is decent, but he is in that bottom tier quarterback range in my eyes. So I don't think, or not bottom tier, not Mason Rudolph, not Anthony Richardson, not quite a bridge quarterback, but he's going to be a guy. He's going to be a guy who maybe can take a team to 9-8, but we haven't even really seen that much in his career. I just really don't think he's that great of a quarterback. And yeah, there's the list. I hope you enjoyed, and if you disagree, comment below. But I think this is a generally agreeable list. The only thing that I didn't expect was I have Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback in the league. That's not something I would have really expected coming into this, but I guess I do like him better than all these guys right now, and I think that's really interesting discussion. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace out.